It's your boy Conservist 34. We're going to talk some Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band made an album called Away from the World, and that was released in 2012. That album was produced with Steve Lillywhite, and some other folks came in after him on certain songs, and they mixed it a little bit more after Lillywhite did his work. And Mr. Steve Lillywhite went on Twitter recently, and he kind of alluded to seeing or hearing or observing that different DMB community members on the low were circulating some of his original mixes that were then changed by other personnel working with the band, allegedly. So I decided to take a look. I'm like, all right, I see DMB family where people literally chase down cars, get a photo of someone's fire dancer sticker on one end of the spectrum, all the way over to the ants marching forums where people go to 300 shows and they complain even when the last stop is played, why isn't it with the tourniquet version with the extended outro? So I see everything in between that, the poster collectors flipping posters for a lot of money, and also people in every direction, which is more toward the DMB family spectrum, but it's a little bit more towards the center as well. I can't find anything. So people must be keeping it on the low. I'll keep my eyes and ears to the DMB streets and see what I find. I'm going to go to the Gorge in a couple weeks and start whispering, hey, man, you got them Lillywhite mixes for Away from the World, fam. Yeah, the Broken Things were. How much you want for Broken Things? Oh, what? Oh, okay. All right, it's a deal. All right, bet. I'll meet you outside after the show in the dark. I'll do that for y'all, and I'll see what we get. But one thing I'll say is this. What this brings up, why there's so much interest in this, is because we've seen over the course of the history of the Dave Matthews Band, earlier versions of songs sound better than the final versions of songs. And the band and its management and what input they put into what is released on the final version of albums cannot always be trusted to be the version that the fans really want. Not to say that there aren't some great songs that have been written over the years. Not to say that Away from the World is a bad produced album, because it sounds great. Matter of fact, it sounds so great in the studio, it doesn't translate that well live. If Only does not translate well live. Mercy does not translate well live, while the message is really great. And I was listening to it over the weekend with all the horrible things we've experienced as a nation here over the weekend. Well, with that said, the versions that we heard on the final Away from the World cuts, they were great. But we always know they probably could have been better, because we've seen things leak and they were better than what we finally got when we made that purchase. We lined up at the old record stores for some of those older albums, all right? And we got the physical copy. So some people are going to say this, well, Lillywhite's been hating, he's been a little jealous of DMB. They may come tomorrow with the whole squad of old school producers without him. And he did criticize Come Tomorrow. He's like, the sound is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, Steve, you my boy. But, Steve, you know that Away from the World had the same type of sound. And you mixed a lot of that stuff. I know, not the final cuts, but you mixed a lot of that stuff. So I was like, he's hating. But this also could be something in Steve's favor. Maybe he had a certain idea of the sound and Away from the World. And the final, some of the songs that didn't have the final cut being from Mr. Lillywhite, maybe they were changed around again. And maybe that's why he's hating on Come Tomorrow and talking about the sound of the band. So this whole conjecture of why Steve is doing this or saying this it could go for him or against him. But there is a lot of evidence to say, hey, maybe this is why he's been a little upset. All right, Lillywhite is a legend in the game. He helped produce some of the best albums. The best album of DMB was with Mr. Lillywhite, Before These Crowded Streets. Busted Stuff was done, it was redone without him, but the Lillywhite sessions had some of the same songs, and those songs were better. And that is what I want to talk about now, is the songs that made the Lillywhite sessions. Everyone knows this, you're a DMB fan, they were better than the final cuts that we saw in the studio. And in this time period of the band, this is where fans started to get a little upset at management in the band. Because we get these leaked Lillywhite sessions, we're like, whoa. This is how y'all made Big Eye Fish? This is one of the best recordings I ever heard in my life. Wait, this is the OG Gray Street? Wait, y'all recorded JTR? And then you give us this busted stuff that's a busted version of the original, and it's all polished and finished. And this is what you give us? And look, busted stuff still sounds great, and You Never Know is one of my favorite songs. But when you look at the Lillywhite sessions, those were better recordings. But the band does not like to make their music raw. They always have, since this turn of the century around 2000, 2001, they've liked everything to be popped and glamorized and makeup and filtered out like Instagram is, and make it all perfect. But imperfection is what makes D&B perfect. Their struggles, their flaws, their anger, their frustrations and hurt, when it's on there raw, is better than the glitched up, busted stuff version, which wasn't really busted. It's like those jeans people pay tons of money for that has the fake wear and tear. I want the real jeans that were ripped up. I don't want the jeans that were nice and clean and they made them ripped up on purpose and sold them for 3 times the price. This is why this is a big thing. I hope to hear these versions if they are allegedly out there, because I still haven't seen anything. Because this is what the more we find unreleased stuff, the more we find raw cuts, things are leaked like the Batson sessions, the more that I want to hear what the band was doing before they decided to screw it up and make the final cut that they have for a lot of these albums. Because from 2000 on, you have the Lillywhite sessions that was canned. Then they make Every Day, which is all right, but Every Day is more of a pop album. Then, they do busted stuff, which again was more glamorized and didn't have the raw sound. Then they do Stand Up, which is over the top. Like we're going to market this to the fans. They're going to love it. And it was too over the top glam and pop and just, yeah, okay? They did too much to it. They screwed up the original intent, even though the songs themselves, a lot of them aren't that good. But Stand Up still has some gems, Stolen Away, and You Might Die Trying. But it was a disconnect. What they were trying to make was more about getting a more wider audience, not catering to the fans who literally were going to 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 shows in a row. Then after that, we get Big Whiskey and the Gru Gus King, which was good, but it was more of a, hey, we're going to be a rock band now, yeah. And it was, look, I'd rather have the raw OG versions of the band, not the, yeah, we're going to be a wall of sound rock band like U2. Then after that, we get to Away from the World, which was cool, but the songs weren't good to be released live. And then we get to, after Away from the World, we get to Come Tomorrow, which was aight, but a lot of the songs don't have staying power. A year later, I'm not listening to Come On like I was. So I really hope that we can get these recordings. I get frustrated and I get disappointed with how DMB has such great raw performances of songs, and no, we're not going to do that again. Oh, look at this cool intro, Prelude to Grace. We're not going to play that again. Live Tracks 31, a beautiful version of Satellite. The piano is more of a big part of it. You can hear Dave. The horns are turned, just Roy at the time. The horn is really soft and everything is light and gentle. And it's played like that, and it's never played like that again with that intro never played again. We have versions of songs with extended outros that are never played like that again. There's so many raw and vulnerable moments that the band's like, I don't know. I don't think we can do that again. And that's what frustrates fans. This band can play whatever it wants. It can cut whatever it wants. It can be a big wall of sound. I'm still showing up every year. I'm going to the Gorge this year regardless that they're going to play Do You Remember. They'll probably play it twice. I'm going to go to the Gorge regardless of the fact that Don't Drink the Water is so freaking loud. There's so many Tim harmonics that I literally cannot stand the song anymore. But I'm still going to go because I freaking love this band. I love the effort and energy they put into their live show, even when I disagree with how it sounds. But at the end of the day, the sound has been changed. The sound has been modified. And we've seen things leak that were so good and so vulnerable, but they were too afraid to release it. And this is the part of the video where I give you the life lesson. Many of us have our Lillywhite sessions, and we're too afraid to release it to the world. We change ourselves. We waste time being something we're not. We really need to be who we should be, who we feel like we should be, and we should be open to being that person regardless of what people think. We all have our Lillywhite sessions. We all have our mixes of ourselves that we change again to appeal to other people. And one thing in life that I try to do is be more of my Lillywhite session self, which is more vulnerable and honest, than be this polished up, cliche, over the top, trying to fit in person that sometimes I've been guilty of being in my life. So be the Lillywhite sessions that can change your life and change your world. That was really horrible. But that's all I got for today. It's your boy Conservist34. Are you looking forward to getting your hands on this? If you got it, DM your boy. I won't snitch, all right? I'm really good about that. I'm going to still keep saying allegedly, and I don't know where it is. Where is it? What are you talking about? What away from the world? Who that? I will not snitch on you. So if you got it, hit me on the DMs on Twitter. Message me here on not Facebook. This is YouTube. And, Instagram too. IG, Conservist34. Let me see it, man. I want to listen to it. All right. Let me know your price too. I put up a little cash. Give it to me for free. If you give, you'll be getting a link. But still, if you need a little cash, I'll PayPal you or do something. We make a deal. You go into the gorge, just do the handshake, and then the hard drive goes in my hand. The cash goes into your hand. That's all I got for today. It's your boy Conservist34. I'm out. Peace.